One could have went down.
I have us at 1 more minute. I have at 8:15.
I know, I just try to get that on there so it's not yelling at you in the middle of you trying to take order.
And are we on?
There was issues with that yesterday. I think they got it fixed though.
I think well, I've been told they got it out. So no, it looks like we're on recording there and this is back up. So
Because they're like, no, she
I
doesn't
don't
want
want
to
to
write this.
handwrite. I don't want to handwrite.
Yeah.
My hands can't handle it anymore.
They're trying to make sure they had it for you.
Call to order. I have 9 o'clock. Roll call. We are all here. We will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Approval of the agenda. I'd make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. Approval of the minutes. For January 8th, 2026 that are presented. I have a motion to approve those minutes.
I'll make the motion. We approve those minutes from January 8th.
I'll second.
We have motion and support. Any discussion? Anybody have a chance to read them? Okay. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Claims and accounts.
Claims and accounts for December 12th, 2025 to January 8th, 2026. Claims in the amount of $50,608.03. EFTs $173,939.77. Desk checks $55,387.61. Grand total of $279,935.41.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Thank you.
Roll call, please, Cheryl.
Peltier,
Yes.
Hamlin,
Yes.
DeVern,
Yes.
Rose. Yes. Ardis.
Yes. Motion passes. Limited public comment. Public comment, please be respectful. No personal attacks. Any public comment?
I think it's too early. We should
I think it's.
have our meetings at 6 o'clock in the evening.
Probably not.
No.
Okay, special presentation, there is none. Department head reports, emergency management director.
This will be fairly quick. It's just, you have the report there. There's not a whole lot of new additions to my report with what's going on. It's been extremely busy with the Snowdrift Rally. We meet on a weekly basis, and the complexity of the event and everything that goes on is quite eye-opening. I've attended as a spectator for years, and being in on this side of things is much different. So it's been a pleasure to work with the committee, and I think communications between the event committee and township officials and those being involved here in our county has improved. So that's a good thing.
When are the dates for that?
That is February, 6th, 7th,
8th.
and 8th, I think. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I don't know why I had December in the mind, but also in the report I provided, we will be having a large scale, full scale exercise June 8th, and it will be roughly in the area of the Vienna Corners. The actual site of Lambda Energy will be in Crawford County. However, Crawford County gets lots of experience with exercises, so they're passing the baton on to Montmorency County. So this is our exercise. We already have involved Eagle, DEQ, law enforcement, fire, All 4 counties, Oscoda, Crawford, Otsego, and Montmorency County will all be involved.
We don't know
So-
the exact date yet.
June 8th,
Okay.
Monday, June 8th. So it's going to be a very big exercise. So as details unfold, I will share with you if you want to take part. I'm sure there'll be an opportunity for elected officials to come if they wish to just view the event and that kind of thing.
So what exactly is the event that we are?
So it's still unfolding all the details, but it does have to do with Lambda Energy. Line 5 is being brought in. So all the details of what it's going to be, we haven't finalized yet, but it will be some type of pipeline related incident, and it will have multiple different incidents within the incident, so we can cover all of the things that we're trying to accomplish. So there will be volunteers that we'll be looking for to be those, whether it's casualties or injuries. We will get local hospital, probably the hospital in Gaylord will be involved, where we're transporting with EMS to the hospital. The fire departments won't be involved because there'll be some type of fire. So there's all kinds of different dimensions that will play out in this. So I'll be meeting with that group again in Lewiston on February 4th. And our group just keeps getting bigger and bigger because it's quite a big exercise. They do this annually, so.
Well, that would be
Basically,
great.
pipeline incident.
Yep.
It'd be great if some of us could participate.
Yeah.
I did one in Alpena and it was multi.
Yeah.
And we did actually have an accident during the running of it.
Oh,
That got
geez.
people confused because they thought the accident was the mock accident and it turned out to be the real accident right
Oh.
on Johnson and Chisholm.
Oh my gosh.
So anyway,
Yeah, so,
but it's an eye opener.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
terrible to say, maybe I have a code name or something if it's a real accident during that time. Something you can say, okay, say this word, this is real, it's not part of our,
Yeah, so
Mock
typically
thing.
what happens is, so most of the responders that are involved will have 800 megahertz radios. And so when that type of stuff happens, we come over the radio and we will say the exercise is currently on hold. We have a real life situation, the exercise is on hold, and everything stops with the exercise, everything. So, yeah, so we have plans in place for that. And, but yeah, if you want to, be one of those that, were a victim of whatever this turns out to be, we have actually somebody that comes in and moulages people up for certain things. And maybe you could even be transported to Otsego Memorial and pretend you're a patient. So,
Yeah.
so we'll be looking for volunteers, sometimes 50, 7,500 people. It just depends on how big this gets. So
What's the date for that?
June 8th.
June 8th.
June,
June 8th.
June?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was during the rally.
No,
Oh, okay.
no, this is completely.
So you can put that on your
I,
schedule.
yeah.
You can be the ambulance driver.
Yeah.
Well, no, okay. June 8th, okay.
Funny. So, yeah, so, lots of things. We're getting a lot more, social media interaction. I think that's one of the great tools that we can use. Obviously, everybody doesn't use social media, but, yeah, so that's that. And then, the only other thing, that I've been working on, as of yesterday with this cold weather moving in, a lot of folks are kind of panicking, about the cold weather, and I reassure them that cold weather doesn't mean you're going to lose your power. We're not expected to have a lot of snow. We're not expected to have rain. We're not expected to have high winds. We're expected to have cold weather. And fingers crossed, that doesn't mean we're going to lose power. So luckily, I lived out in Fargo, North Dakota for 4 years, and we had some really cold weather and we never lost power. So just trying to reassure folks that it is going to be cold. If you take appropriate precautions and measures when you're going outside, traveling, that kind of thing. So I'm trying to call people that are calling the sheriff's department with questions, concerns. I'm trying to call them back, touch base with them. I have some elderly folks coming into the courthouse today because they don't know how to get on to the communication system that we have. I said, if you're able, come on in, because I tried to do it over the phone. It was challenging. So trying to help people navigate to get through the communications process. If there is some type of notice that goes out, they're aware. I've already called and spoke with Denny at the senior center, that's an option if people do lose power out in the county, that they could go there if there's still power here. And trying to just be proactive. I don't foresee the need to do any of that. It will probably be a case by case scenario that if people get in touch with me early enough, I can get them the resources they need through NEMSCA, Department of Health and Human Services, or whomever. So I don't see the need to open any type of shelters prematurely, but it has been a conversation that's come up. So with that being said, I have jumped on the bandwagon and I'm trying to find funding to at least get 3 large permanent generators for, and this, I haven't spoken to all of them yet, but this is like step 1, that each senior center would get a permanent generator. They all have
Excellent.
food capabilities, cooking capabilities. There's one in each community in the county. And then we can have further discussions. There's some townships interested in that kind of thing, but we've got to have something in place other than relying on our fire departments. Yes,
I know that Hillman does have a backup generator.
at the senior center?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay,
They installed it a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I thought
Okay.
They
that
got
was
that
too.
back when I was
50 plus
president of
people use
that.
that.
okay,
Yes.
perfect.
It's got its own building and everything, so
Okay,
Yeah,
it's all wired
Lewiston,
in.
yeah, Lewiston doesn't.
The 50 plus club used Alpinas that we had to.
Right, that's
That's
the one
right.
we had to.
And Atlanta
that
Senior
one
Center
in.
was in process of getting one, but they never got it, but Hillman does, because when
Yeah.
I was talking to Dave Hornbacher, he said they installed it a couple years ago.
okay.
And Atlantis has some
That's a nice
labor
one.
issues.
So
Yeah.
they're removing the kitchen equipment from the Atlanta Senior Center.
They have actually, as of yesterday, when I talked to them, they are kind of a skeleton kitchen right now, but there has been some donors that stepped up, and so they're quickly replenishing the oven, the refrigerators, all that kind of stuff. So it won't be the commercial kitchen it was, but they will have equipment up and operational for their needs. So, but that's just like step 1, that, you know, the facilities might not be the perfect ideal situations. A lot of people just assume we should use the schools, and we run into a lot of challenges with, not with the schools themselves, but the fact that emergencies are challenging when you have school in session, and that kind of thing. So although the schools have everything we would need in emergency, it would have to be a pretty big emergency for us to be using the schools. So that's kind of what's going on, and it's busy.
Just something that was kind of a public service announcement, or the biggest thing you gotta worry about in cold weather is people's water freezing. And
Yes,
it's
yes,
a good idea, if you're not sure if you don't have to worry about it or not, just leave your water on, just a trickle.
yep. So, and I've shared some of that out on social media. You know, that's kind of the only tool I have right now for that kind of thing, but yes. I've got a video actually on Facebook, through the county Facebook page. It's also on the county website, because April was able to link in the website to the main page, which is kind of nice. So if somebody can get to the web page, they can see what's being posted on Facebook, but there's a nice video on there for people to understand. There is kind of a science behind leaving your water running. You know, you just don't want it to drip, 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 but to turn both hot and cold on and get a full stream, and then slowly turn it back so you have a full small stream of water. You know, and I've learned over the years, I used to just do the drip, 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 and that doesn't help your pipes. So, so there's a video online with some information about the importance of freezing pipes, because it becomes very costly to folks. Whether you have money or don't have money, it puts people in a tough financial position when you have to start fixing that kind of stuff too. So
Can we get,
You can go ahead.
I was just gonna say, what about the public service announcements like on radios? Can you get on those?
Yep.
To link people to the Facebook site, or?
I'm not sure if they do
beneficial?
that for social media, but yeah, I mean,
wonder.
that's something that I can get on my radar to talk with them, because we are, you know, a regional area with some of the radio stations out of Alpena, so.
And yeah, and then Gaylord.
Normally with the radio stations, they all have emails, and I used to do it at the conservation district. You just send a letterhead with PSA.
Yep.
And they will announce whatever you ask them to do.
Right,
They're pretty
yeah.
cool about it.
And I've got all that, so, yeah.
Okay. On here it says the MEMA Lunch and Learn.
Yes.
What is that?
So MEMA is the Michigan Emergency Managers Association. So
Okay.
it's a separate entity from MSP. It's a membership organization that this county belongs to. It's they are starting to provide lunch and learn type educational things. This one specifically, there was a survey sent out recently to emergency managers, kind of getting details of financial information, fringe benefits, wages, your role, part-time, full-time, shared position versus not shared position. And so they're really looking at how emergency management is funded across the state because as you may or may not know, the EMPG money that funds, helps to fund my position was put on hold. And so MEMA's really lobbying, they're really kind of the government connection we have for emergency management with FEMA and MSP to kind of get out there and lobby for emergency management funding for counties. Because a lot of the funding, a lot of the funding, well, it all goes through MSP. And so they're really lobbying to get a big picture of what counties are really paying for these roles and these departments versus what they're actually getting reimbursed through the grant. And there's a significant difference. So to not have this money available from FEMA, it puts a huge financial burden on the counties to have to fund these positions that are quite frankly required for every county, and how they can look at the funding avenue and how things may be different in the future. So they're looking at all kinds of options, is it a line item in the state budget? That, how can they look at doing the funding differently to make sure the counties are getting the money they've been receiving, but even to fund the programs. So that was what that lunch and learn was about. If any of you are interested, they're always like a Zoom or Teams meeting. I can involve you all too. Some of them might be related to the things that you make decisions on, and some are just emergency management type conversations. So,
Okay. Thank you.
yep.
You mentioned helping, you're gonna meet people to help them receive communications. Are you referring to the Facebook communications or?
No,
something?
that's to the, well, try not to call it rave because,
Oh, okay.
yeah, so the county communication system is rave. And I try not to get that name out too much because I don't want people to rely on the name other than the county communication system. So I guess it doesn't matter really what company we're with, it's the county's communication system. So, but yeah, it's oftentimes more difficult for elderly people to understand how to text to log in. It's very simple in my mind because I'm very tech savvy with the cell phone, but trying to get them to understand, type in this number, it's a 5-digit number, it's not a phone number, and you're just typing in Montmorency, and that will automatically register you. It's a very quick, simple step.
Okay.
But a lot of people don't understand that. So I just tell them to come on in and hopefully I'm here and April and Dawn can, if I'm not here, can maybe assist too, but yeah, so they can do that. And I'm also can walk them through over the phone that I've been doing. So yeah. And I've been sharing the information on social media as well. I'm not sure what's been done in the past, but just using those tools to try to get the word out that they need to register to get those notifications. So. Anything else?
You're doing a fine job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Committee reports. We'll start with our committee report. Please keep comments to the committee
None for me.
purposes. You have none, Michelle?
No.
Well, you win.
Yeah, I went to the DHS or to Department 4 Health Department.
I'll give the report.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have anything.
You had finance as well, correct?
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
yes.
fine, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I finance yesterday.
I attended NEMCOG. We're at quarterly meetings now, so we switched from monthly to quarterly. I was pretty much all my committees are mostly organizational business. They did give an update on projects and they're working on an updated tourism brochure for our county. So that should be completed in the next month or so. And it's something we can get copies of if we're interested. I attended the landfill meeting and the ILA board, which was my first time attending, so it's a good introduction to that board. We talked through what the schedule and topics will be for upcoming meetings and kind of walked through what that's about, and I've been working with them to get up to speed on that. That's all I have.
And just a landfill, not a lot different. Lagoon levels were up because of the recent thaw, but that's to be expected, and we're in the kind of the final stages of deciding which insurance carrier we're going with and what plan for the employees, but that's about it. Not a lot going on.
And Cheryl can probably add to mine. I went to FPS. I went to DHD4. There were 2 meetings for DHD4. One was a special executive meeting that I was participating in. And that this will need to be on our radar. Hopefully I'll have more information in February, because we've known now for 6 months that we've had some financial shortfalls there. And so it was an organizational meeting, but following the organizational, we had an executive finance meeting. And the finance department with the executive board has come up with some budgetary suggestions, but we have to work through the details, so we can't give the details yet. We have to cut approximately $500,000. So that's going to be a big change no matter how we do it, but we'll be having that meeting on the 30th, so I'll know more hopefully in that February meeting. With the materials management, I went to that meeting. Cheryl was also present, and she can, I'll let you piggyback onto mine if you have anything more to add. And I spoke with Kristen and Caitlin yesterday as well, discussing what the goals are for that group and that meeting and how that is going to affect our county. And basically the short answer is, originally 3 years ago when we signed on to this, we were given a certain direction that the coalition was going to handle the grant, and this is how it was going to flow, and we're going to come up with a community or with a coalition type plan. She said that's not actually how Eagle rolled it out. Eagle has actually, the county is going to be responsible as the management staff, so we are going to have some sort of local county management and run the grant basically. And April, you'll be able to I think you're going to meet with them later and talk to them. So you'll get the more specifics on that. So it's going to mean an actual coordinator for our counties. We're going to develop, Eagle has kind of given the basic goal of we're going to decrease landfill volume by increasing in recycling. So that's kind of going to be the overarch, and then the counties are going to be responsible for our individual, what we want to do to meet those goals. So, but we were also told that the funding that Eagle has said, of course, that will be there for the next, I think it's 4 years. 3.
At least 3.
Yeah, there was multiple times they said, don't anticipate that being there beyond that. So it'll fall solely on the county again to continue those.
So pretty much everything that they had presented to us
3 years ago when we had signed it. Yeah. Yeah. We know the rollout was slow. Everybody just now are signing the contracts with Eagle. So that's obviously slow. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. The meeting was very interesting. We learned about recycling and composting, mainly of green materials, and a lot of the things that go into our landfills, of course, are things like food and those kind of issues. So that is it. Cheryl, was there anything that you would like to add?
Well, I did stay after the meeting and talked with the gal that presented, just trying to dig in a little bit more on the funding part of it and how that money is going to get spent or who makes that decision. She did indicate that they would be more than willing to come and, maybe do a workshop in front of the board. If you wanted something like that, we would just need to let them know. Kind of, yeah, I mean, pretty much it sounds like, yeah, we're still digging into figuring out what the whole program is going to be. I mean, we know that we have to come up with a plan, but weren't really touching on how this money's gonna get spent, who's heading it up.
Who does what?
Right, but each county board is responsible for approving and spending the money. So it's not gonna be, even though Alpena is your administrator, or they're the kind of like the gatherer of those funds, it doesn't sound like they have really much say. They're just kind of like gonna be a flow through.
Yeah.
So if you want to spend money, it's based on a reimbursement. So it sounds like you spend the money, then you request the reimbursement. So I'm assuming that would be through Alpena. I have not had a chance to read the email that you sent, April, but there was also indication now that there's going to be quarterly reporting involved. Nobody's even talked about that at all.
It's in the Eagle grant, that's it. And
So
everybody got thrown that.
I
loop.
mean, we've met for a whole year, and we've talked about different ideas for how to come up with our plan, which I get this company is helping us do. But on the other hand, the other members of the other counties that are in there that already have recycling going, I don't know that some of them understand all of it. I think some of it more so, some do than others. Like Ioscoda has a pretty good handle on it, and maybe even Oscoda. But they're not relaying that information to us that have no idea. So like I said, I stayed after just to try and dig into, wait a minute, how is the rest of this gonna flow? How does the money get spent? Who has the authority?
They don't even tell you how much you're getting.
Well, no, we do know,
It's
we do
it's
know.
just, it's just under $75,000 a year.
but
But the problem is we've already paid Alpena $22,000 because we were supposed to be paying them a quarterly basically to manage this ILA and pay our RSS.
correct.
And that was what we were sold. Like, we're getting this money, but it's basically just gonna flow through us to Alpena to take care of this RSS that's gonna do all the management for the counties and set up recycling for us.
Are we gonna
But that's not happening.
No, but that's what that Eagle money you're supposed to use. So our budget right now looks like 70,000 coming from Eagle, and then $4,000 into a line that pays the per diem and the mileage. So I'm guessing that if we've already paid 22 out of the 70,000 is where we're paying this company to help us get this going. And then, like I said, the mileage and the reimbursement or the per diems come out of the other line. What was indicated to me though is because my thought initially was, why can't we maybe do something this summer, maybe just on a temporary basis to maybe try and do like it could either be a pickup of whatever mattresses and electronics and, a drop off type of thing on a weekend. Maybe we could do one in each community.
Like Alpena does, like at the fairgrounds.
Or could we do in one in each community, do a weekend recycling where everybody brings their plastics and their glass and whatever, just on a temporary basis to try to utilize some of those 70,000. If we do want to do something like that, what I was told though, is that we would need to amend that current budget. So right now, the current budget doesn't allow for that, any other expenses. Right now, it's strictly sitting, that 70,000 is sitting in contractual line. 4,000 in the per diem and mileage. So if we wanted to try and even do some sort of a small thing, we would have to request to have that budget amended, which they said they would help us do. That wouldn't be an issue. I haven't really went any step further to contact Alpena, the actual recycling facility, where all of our recycling is going to flow, because I didn't know. Well, first of all, I didn't know how the money was, who has the authority, whatever. So I haven't really taken the initiative yet to call the young man that kind of heads that up to even get a dollar figure to say, okay, we did, because they mentioned they did one in Alcona, I think, last summer. Just did a weekend thing.
Is Presque part of that coalition?
So, no, not this one,
They're-
not
they
ours.
went with North.
Yeah, so I haven't, so anyways, if
Problem
that's
is-
something we want to look at, we could get our budget amended.
So in order for Eagle to send us the grant agreements, we had to have that work program that our SS did completed, and it had to have a detailed budget for all 5 counties showing what we were going to spend the money on. So once they finished that, then Eagle approved that work program, and then they sent out the contracts to all 5 counties and said, okay, now here it is. But the contract is contradicting to what the work program was originally set up to be, and that's the problem. And I'm not sure that temporary recycling meets the criteria of Eagle because they want permanent structures.
Well, but you have to figure the plan is a 3 or 4 year plan. So
Mhm.
right now, technically, if you're looking at the plan, they don't anticipate that you have to have something in place permanently by like year 3,
Yeah.
2027.
Yeah.
But that's not that far away.
No, it's not.
So, I mean, like I said, we've already been through 1 year of meetings. So by 2027, you have to have something more permanent in place, which is what, the 24 hours per month or whatever it is that has to be met. So,
And when I talked to him, Cheryl, it does kind of sound, like I said, am I the right person to be on it? It seems like our, that we should have a finance person in there, and they said, no, it's mandated that board members be there. You can send a proxy.
correct.
But they said the same, because I asked what you had said, that you had mentioned those things. And they said, well, our plan doesn't start until July, September is our plan adoption. But it sounds like you and I being there are going to be the ones that they will help us do it. But it sounds like since we are the representatives, that it's like you and I are supposed to come up with the ideas. And I
Well,
can't quite wrap my head,
but
but they said they will help us. They will help us come up with these
Right, but the
ideas.
ideas for the recycling, that's why we're doing the survey.
Right.
So the plan, the thought was do the survey, see what community members out there would like to see happen, and then bring that back probably to the individual counties. There might have to
We
be
have
a
to.
subcommittee at
They-
the individual county
Yes.
level to say, okay, here, they'll help us put together our survey information and what comes out of it. But then it's still gonna be ultimately up to this board and what's gonna happen.
And that's exactly when they told me we are going to need a coordinator. And they
Right.
did suggest that local committee and a coordinator. So that's a whole nother
Yeah.
level.
And the
And-
quarterly reporting, that was,
Right.
like I said, that just came out of the last
Last
meeting
meeting.
going, okay, wow, really? We have quarterly reporting? Who's gonna be doing that?
Right, and your coordinator, they told me the coordinator does that, they do the plan, they do the organization, so this is a job. And that's why the administrator, that Jamie told me that we do have to have a designated person. And then Jennifer said the same thing.
And that, I told them when I signed the contract that we had approved, it's only for a year. It ends 12/7/2026, and it's for 74,576.50. And then they'll execute another one after that and so forth, whatever. But I said, okay, well, this says that we have to do quarterly reimbursing moving forward. Now, what about all the money we've spent last year? And they're like, oh, we're gonna have to email Eagle and see if we can still submit for that and how we can do that. And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Like, there,
Well, I thought the first set of monies that we just got was for the 24-25 year.
we haven't gotten any money.
I thought we had.
We got money from the landfill.
No, I could have swore that somebody had said we had gotten, so all we've gotten is the signed grant agreement. We haven't gotten any money
I haven't
still.
received any funds from. Eagle.
Okay, well, when I talked to Jesse a couple of weeks ago, nobody has gotten any.
No.
But that we hadn't seen the plan, the finalized plan either.
Yeah.
Approved. So our plan apparently was the first one that has come through, because I was showing that to the gal the other day. And she says, well, no other county has gotten this approval yet. So maybe they're starting to trickle through. I don't know. But out of our counties that are in this one, apparently we were the first one to have a signed one.
When I talked.
I guess I assumed the money would follow shortly after the approval.
Yeah,
but-
no, because they won't get, it's a reimbursement grant, so we have to submit for reimbursement for funds expended
Okay.
in order to get it, and then you have to use those funds within that year. But
So
they
we're
sent
around
it, they
50
sent it
right
to
now.
all 5 counties, but Eagle hasn't received a signed copy back from all 5 counties yet. We got ours back, and I think another one got theirs back finally, but when I was talking to Kristen and Caitlin, she said, well, I'm gonna set up a meeting with all of you to talk about this reimbursement process, but I'm waiting for everybody to get their signed contracts back to Eagle, so that's what we're waiting on right now.
Yeah, and Caitlin said yesterday, kind of what Cheryl has already said, we've got to they're waiting for the surveys to come through, and they said it was the February meeting, and she said she didn't know which meeting we were going to be discussing actual plans. But she said that one might.
Well, the survey doesn't even end until the end of February. So
Right.
now you're looking at even
March
into
or April.
March, potentially, or April, right?
Yeah, so it's a process to
And-
keep that on our radar. This is going to be an item that's going to be hit our
The
Get
first
our-
reporting date's April 30th,
Well,
for
if we
January
haven't-
through March.
Right, and if we haven't seen any money, then there's no sense at this point to try and plan even something temporary for the summer. I have no idea. That's why I kind of thought the unanticipated money that we got from the landfill, why couldn't we earmark it for future projects? Because if what they're saying is true, it's gonna take more than this, only 4 years of $70,000 from the state.
Yeah.
It's another unfunded mandate again.
Mhm.
It is, and it's gonna require a county coordinator to run the program, they told me, to do the quarterlies, to run the grant and to run the process. And they have to do that individual, she said yesterday, has to do all the data collection. How are we going to define in Montmorency County that we actually fulfilled the requirement? How are we gonna prove that instead of 10 ton of waste, we only sent 9.5? We have to have some sort of data mechanism, so it is a measurable.
But I think that is something that I can't think of what their acronym is, NEMA? The North Michigan, whatever,
And
the
then-
recycling,
yeah.
the LP, the recycling place where we filter it through. So I think they will probably they'll be able to probably, we
Help
can
us to
use that to help
determine that.
track that, because they'll have
Right.
trucks that have to come and pick this up.
Right.
So,
But that's where our coordinator, they said, will have to coordinate that, because they'll have to keep that, so
yeah.
that must
But to
be an
make sure that they
ongoing
keep track
every
of the
month.
weights and-
She said a monthly review that we are meeting the goal that we set.
Right.
So anyway, that looks like that's.
I volunteered
gonna be
to help
something
with
on the
planning.
budget.
And we're sitting.
And maybe come up with some ideas of things to do, but
We're
knows
sitting
gonna be
what
all
at
this, huh?
50,000 right now? We have what, around 50,000 right now? Of that
that's,
70?
No, we haven't
no,
had
no,
any
no,
money.
the 50,000 was the landfill.
It was the landfill.
Unanticipated
Okay.
payment that landfill made at the end of last year.
Okay,
But I think Cheryl's right. It'll we'll end up with a subcommittee. I don't think Cheryl and I want to make the decision on what we're doing. I mean, I think it needs to be
No, but I
broader
think we
than us.
certainly could have ideas, obviously, and then seek community ideas too, because I went to the township, I went to the MTA meeting that they had a couple weeks ago. Of course, not all townships were represented there, unfortunately, but I did kind of give an update on the recycling program and, that we were trying to get some planning. We need to push out the survey, get the word out on that. And then the board's gonna need to figure out how are we gonna fund it? Whether it be village, which everybody loves that word, or Alpena County charges, they levy a $25 per household fee per year. And that you can do under one of the public acts.
Yeah.
I don't
You can
know
do
what kind of revenue that
$25
would
per
bring in,
resident, and you can do $50 for businesses, and it's a public act levy that you can put on for recycling if you choose to, but you're gonna get a lot of pushback on that.
You don't have to do anything for this first year. Technically,
No,
we really don't
except-
have to. It's
Except the
pretty
plan.
much the planning portion of it that has to get done, and then maybe do you now just kind of maybe save some of this money? I don't know. Right now, that money, that 70,000 is strictly sitting in contractual to
Yeah.
pay the fee that's being charged.
And implementation, going to their matrix, their preliminary milestone schedule is July, September of 2027.
Right.
What if
This,
it doesn't
this
get
year's
spent?
grant specifically says the grant shall be used for administrative costs for preparing, implementing, and maintaining a materials management plan, including but not limited to the following. And there's a whole list of things you're supposed to be doing. So, when we were told we just had to get a plan for the community, and this was funds, they changed it a lot.
If you don't use it all, just roll over.
Doesn't-
Yes, they did say that the money isn't calendar
I was
year.
gonna
They
say, I can't
said, she
remember.
said,
I
when you
think so.
expend that first 70, then you're eligible for the next. She said it was not calendar, so see if that is actually, because I think Jamie from IOSCO had mentioned that it's not.
And the grant doesn't read that way.
I know, but that's what she's.
But that's why she told me we could amend the budget. We could amend this first year's budget to allocate monies for something, a temporary recycling thing. She specifically told me that, so it's not just to
So
spend
April?
on the plan.
April is when, I don't know when you've planned to talk to them, but maybe check in on that amendment to see, and to see if that's true, because they said it's not necessarily a calendar year. It's you go through that first set of money, then you can go to the next. And I thought that was kind of random, but she said it's
They did
different.
say
She
that,
said,
though.
she did say it's much different than what it had originally been.
Yeah, we thought we would just get it each year, and then if you didn't,
Right.
and for use, like maybe over the 4 years, you'd still have a little bit
Mhm.
outside of what you're spending on the contractual piece to put the plan together. But it doesn't sound like that might be the case either. I think the first year for report, if we have an April reporting coming up for this year, I guess, I don't think it's gonna be that difficult, because we haven't really spent anything other than what's on,
Other than the
getting a
mileage and
report
per
from
diems,
Alpena,
right, and
get a
maybe,
report from Alpena.
But I don't
Did you get your
report
mileage?
that because that was a check from Alpena and we paid Alpena. So I can report what we spent so far, just invoices to Alpena. That's what we'll report because that's all we've spent is money to Alpena.
well, ask that question though, because I think
Per diem? Not yet.
Michelle.
It was in your
They
payroll,
did get, oh, was there? I haven't even.
Yeah.
have no idea.
Because I think Michelle Knapp had
but they
mentioned.
miss a lot of your meetings. And I contacted them about it and said, you need to fix that so that they're supposed to give me a corrected check and an amounts. And I highlighted every meeting you guys attended and said, hey,
That's why I sent what I sent, and I had a very in-depth conversation with Jesse about it and how they were gonna track those.
And Michelle Knapp did mention that there is a way for us to be reimbursed if we do it in-house too. So that might be another question to ask her. I didn't go in depth on it, so. So that is the committee report for materials management. Much more to come, and it will be much more. We'll be hearing about it, and hopefully when April talks to them on that side, we'll have more information. Controllers report.
okay. First I did pass out, it's not need to be in, approved or anything. It's just a notification of the surplus that we did the resolution for the general fund to move to the contingency funds. In that resolution, it stated that I would notify you what that amount was calculated to and where it would go. So that's just that notification. And I gave you a copy of that too.
So you know, somebody just texted me that they're having trouble being on Zoom, that the passcode must change.
Yeah, it did. It's on the calendar invite. So every calendar invite has the meeting code and passcode because I had to set a new calendar for the 2026. So it's on our main page of our website.
Yep, I got a similar text as well. No, the meeting code was changing.
Can you tell them on Zoom to go to the?
Well, they can't get
They
on
can't get on
it.
Zoom, that
If they
would
can't
help
get on it, they can't get the passcode.
On the main page, it has every meeting, it has the Zoom link and the passcode, and it'll be the same code and password for the rest of the year. So I have a reoccurring meeting set up now, so it'll use the same code and passcode.
We should update the remote access instructions.
Yep. For EPS camera and door system, we had these quotes for the camera system and the door upgrades through EPS. They do our current security and fire system. ComAngle never did give us the demo they were supposed to do. I did finally get an email yesterday. Oh, did you still want the demo? And it's like, at this point, we've asked you for that months ago. With us having as many issues as we are with ComAngle, I don't think it's a good idea to even go through them with a camera system. I would think it'd be better to go through EPS since we're using them for everything else, for our security. So we have the access and control upgrade that would fix the door system to be a new program. We'd get rid of the Atrium program. It would be tied in. They could manage it for us. Like we can have technical support. Right now, we have no technical support with Atrium. Like it's on us to figure out. So if we decided to go with EPS's system, door system, they would upgrade it and then they would be able to technical support us. And it's also a lot easier to manage because you don't have to, it's a cloud-based system that you can get on and, you know.
So for example, when we had, the Friday after Christmas or Thanksgiving, when we had, it was open, it wasn't open, we could manage that calendar better and.
Yeah. And then they also gave us the camera upgrade, which would put new cameras throughout the building and be a cloud-based system as well. So we've had nothing but trouble with this camera system. It keeps, for some reason, I don't know what happened with ComAngle, but we had it set up and then people keep losing access to it. And I keep putting tickets in and they say they fix it, but it's not fixed. And so this camera upgrade system would put it on a cloud-based system. Everybody would be able to get on with a login to get it a lot easier. It'd be just make it a lot smoother for the building for everybody. Adam did go out and work with Chad to go for review. I don't have his quotes in yet, but he did meet with them. So if we were to approve both the access control upgrade for that one's 24,784.45, and the camera upgrade is 19,965.78. I can submit this for a RAP grant reimbursement of 50% because it's considered court compliance security. And so our total cost would be 22,375.11 to upgrade both the access system and the camera system. We could use,
Plus the sheriff's office when it comes in.
and then we submit that one.
Make
for
that
court.
separate?
It'll be separate, but yeah. Once I
Does
get that
the
quote,
technical support, is there any added cost or is that already?
it's already budgeted for. We could use the county improvement fund to cover this charge, or we've talked before at court security that you guys could designate that 30,000 surplus from DTRF for this purchase too. So we could use that 30,000 to do both the sheriff's department and ours if you guys choose to do so. I just would need a motion to be able to move forward with this, and also the sheriff's department when it comes in, so we can get these done. I don't know if you want to put it on an agenda item and do it next meeting, or if you want to have them start doing the work, but I just would like to do something with it so we have better access. And so our dispatchers are having problems getting camera access, and that's big. They need to be able to have access, especially in court too.
Our purchasing policy would require we get multiple bids on this. So I think we should follow the policy and.
Well, we do have multiple bids. We had one from Control Solutions, which is over 60 grand to do. And then we had, Common Angle failed to give us the bid and demo. And there was, what was the other company? I can't remember the name.
It's hard to get bids on these because a lot of people want to try to upgrade us for like you're down to Detroit and stuff, and we just.
Well, I understand that, but we still have a policy that says written proposals or sealed bids.
But what are we doing when they're not even writing the proposals? They're ignoring us.
Well, that was one company. So I'm just suggesting we try to follow our own policy. So
I'd be interested in seeing the difference between the companies that are bidding and what they're actually saying they're gonna supply.
So you need a motion to apply for the grant?
No, the grant I can apply for once we decide what we're doing. That just helps carry the funding. I need a motion to decide if we're going to seek bids, or if we're going to use our current servicer, or if we're going to seek proposals from new servicers.
So we had EPS, Common Angle, the one that didn't.
Control Solutions.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, Controlled Solutions, Common Angle, and EPS. And EPS was low bidder?
Yeah.
Or they're the low bidder and they're also our current provider.
Correct.
And what do we use Common Angle for exactly?
Common Angle's our IT company.
That's one we.
That's
had
right,
issues
that's
with.
what I just wanted to, yeah.
And I can reach back out to Control Solutions to have them do a new bid. But that's when they first did it, it was over $60,000 to come in and upgrade everything.
well, I'll make a motion to follow our formal procurement process to solicit bids for the camera indoor system in accordance with our procurement policy.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second discussion.
So I think a key in getting bids is that something is provided that is somewhat formal to request consistency among what's being submitted. So if people are trying to push things that aren't part of what we're asking for, then that could be a reason to throw out the bid, or maybe they have alternates and we choose not to accept it. But a bid process, typically you are saying, this is what we're asking a price for, here's the scope, and it's submitted out. And then they provide their proposals, and then you review those proposals. And, you know, the board can determine, or controller can provide a recommendation based on what is being proposed, is being supplied, and cost, and putting it together, and what makes the best sense.
So your proposal is to get a
To get bids,
bid from all three.
not just limiting to those three, but however we would advertise formally when we're receiving bids.
I'm fine with the three that we have, but go back, is it Common Angle that didn't get back with us?
They emailed me just yesterday to see if we still wanted the demo, or it was 2 days ago, after went through all this. And they were supposed to get us a demo back in November, was originally.
Even
So
if we
basi-
have 3 bids already, I'd like to see them just so I know that we're comparing apples
Me
to
too,
apples
if
and not
we can get
something else.
Common Angle to come back to us with a bid or whatever we're waiting on.
Our procurement process, it doesn't just say 3 with written quotes. It says for this amount of money, it says written proposals or sealed bids. So it's not just asking for quotes, it's asking for proposals. So what's the difference there? I think making sure we're communicating consistently. So we should have something we're submitting as to this is what we want as a county. And they provide back how they're gonna meet what we want and what it's gonna cost. That's what a formal procurement process is. And that's what I think we should follow.
Yeah, and you said you've already got 2 of those, April, so
The control solutions can be updated. That's fine. We can put up a RFP for it and send it out and see what other bids we can get.
Yeah, I think an RFP would be good.
because you already have the one from EPS. I mean, you already have some of these, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not gonna be just a bid. They will have to do walkthroughs with this type of thing. So any person that wants to bid on it is gonna have to schedule a walkthrough and go through.
Right.
Same thing at the sheriff's department, because they'll have to schedule out there to go and see everything too.
Any further discussion? Okay, roll call?
Hamlin,
Yes.
DeBrent,
Yes,
LaRose,
Yes.
Arties,
Yes.
Peltier.
Yes.
I did submit, we have our body cam contract, it's a 5-year contract. I submitted that to Myrma to hopefully cover 50% of that, so that'll save us about $406. I gave you a copy, the bound copy of the cost allocation plan that came in from MGT, that's for you guys to keep. I notified Lindsay, we have access to Sam now, so I made her a user and we should be good there. It's all registered and renewed now, it had expired in November, but we're all good. Fix that process. Blue Cross Blue Shield Insurance, we have initiated everything with the new provider. Open enrollment's gonna be happening here at the end of January to beginning of February. We have Valley setting up everything for us and switching everything. They also plan 2 Zoom and meetings so people can come and ask questions about the plan, learn more about it. They have, specifics for themselves. So she set up 2 different meetings for that. We sent out in everybody's personal emails, those meeting dates and times so that they can attend those.
So when exactly, because it says they have to sign up, but then the meetings are the 11th and the 17th, are the meetings going to be before they have to sign up? Well, I guess there's no signing up. They just need to know how it's going to roll out. don't they?
Yeah.
Because it's one program. I'm
Yep.
sorry.
And then I also shared everything with the union and the union rep over there, Chris Watts, so that's all been sent. We already talked in depth about materials management, so.
More to come.
All the new copier devices were installed in the offices. I did just get a quote in for the sheriff's department, working with Donna. I gave her the quote that we got. It was cheaper than what she's paying right now through Xerox. So she's gonna review that with Chad and get back to me if they want to add that to our contract. So hopefully they can get a new machine. Theirs is pretty old, from 2021. And they're having a little issue with it, so we can get something new.
We still pay for the toner.
Yeah, and a toner and all that we pay for, so we'll save them some money, save the county some money on that. The uniform chart of accounts updates were completed for the county. Our new VSO assistant was hired. He started today. Ian Bush is joining the team down there. There's the equalization study, it's available in our office. We can put a big printout of it, like 146 pages.
Yeah, it's a lot of pages.
You guys are more than welcome to review it, but it can't be distributed to the public. It has to stay confidential. I also did give you a listing of our current cases. I handed that out this morning. You have that for your records. Also, it's not on my report, but the sheriff's septic issue was fixed. Whether we paid KK Excavating to fix the drain field, it was $8,200 to repair that problem. That's all taken care of. Agenda items. So there's one thing I just need a motion for. I was speaking with Donna and she would like to be paid the stipend bi-weekly. I updated the form for her to report and she has that and she said she's been keeping track. So she'll still report at the end of the month for audit purposes, showing that's what we, we're doing it, but we will pay her bi-weekly if you guys are okay with changing that, because the original motion was to do it monthly. So if I could have a motion to change that to bi-weekly payment, we both would appreciate that.
I'd make the motion to change the stipend payment from monthly to bi-weekly
I'll second that.
for the 911 coordinator. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, roll call.
DeBrent,
Yes.
LaRose,
Yes.
Hardee's,
Yes.
Peltier,
Yes,
Hamlin.
Yes,
The other thing on my report we'll talk about further down in the agenda. So that's it for me.
April, will you give me that drain field, what ended up being, those 8,000?
8,200 we paid, plus permit fees to DHD for, which like came to about $400.
Okay.
All right, discussion items, there is none. Unfinished business, we have resolution 2026-03 on the delinquent tax revolving fund, the DTRF. I'd make the motion to accept resolution 2024-05. Oh, no. Sorry. That's the wrong three.
26.
Wrong one in front. Yeah,
Oh, that's what I have.
2603. I'm sorry.
I have 2405.
No, that's what we've already done. That's the old comparison. I'm sorry, I have the wrong stack. 2026-03 for the resolution adopting delinquent tax revolving fund use and surplus policy. Do I have support?
I'll support.
Motion and support. Discussion?
So this was tabled from, not tabled, we asked to send it to the attorney at our December meeting. They went through it, they went through Lindsay's comments and sent back a red line. So this is the new updated resolution policy that our attorney sent over.
Right, that was the combination of the 2024. And
Yeah,
yeah, that was those. Was there 2 or 3 policies that?
no, that's the investment policy you're thinking of.
Okay.
This was replacing the original 2025 405 resolution
All right.
and updating it.
Section 2B5, I think we can strike anything after the MCL reference. That was in the version that I saw anyway, that was from the attorney.
Yep, so the attorney emailed, so there was a question I asked him after, and he sent an email afterwards, and added that wording to it. I'll read you his email.
Pretty much just cites the MCL.
But it cites one small piece of an MCL, so what's the point of citing one small part of it?
I asked the
Just
same thing.
referencing
It just kind of gives a couple brief notes of the MCL
But it's
after the IE, but I don't know why it has to be there.
it's lengthy, like the MCL is,
211-87B is something, yeah.
so I don't know, I don't know the intent of trying to put one clause out of it, and if that's necessary, if it's trying to draw attention to something in particular, just trying to understand.
On the other hand, we do that a lot in ours. They just want to send it to the right section, like this is 7B. I mean, it does cite the whole MTL, so that's all right. You'd have to go review the whole thing anyway.
Right, you'd have to review. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know,
you
it
have
just
to cover
seems,
the whole
it
thing.
just seems weird because it's covering a portion of it. So what's the point? It almost discourages in my mind from going to look at the whole thing because it makes it seem as though it's citing the relevant pieces when really it'd be better.
So
just
his
to be
email
removed.
says the information is included in this policy as set forth in the red line version of the resolution. See section 2B5 and section 3 ESP section 3.3. To lend additional clarity, I added a phrase to section 2B5 and a sentence after section 3.3. See updated line resolution. There should be no expenditures from the DTRF except for those that are statutorily authorized. The county board does not authorize expenditures from the DTRF, but rather may transfer surplus funds.
Sorry, which section, where are you looking?
I'm reading his email, but rather may transfer surplus funds from the DTRF to the general fund and then appropriate those funds for general county purposes, e.g. staff and the treasurer's office, counting machine, etc. Please contact me if you need information. So he added that line.
Did you
So
ask him about it? or
for
I don't
clarity on
understand.
expenditures, because, you know, we had questions that came up in the previous year. I said, can you clarify an expenditures in the policy? And that was the wording he asked me for.
And it's probably to cover the cost of the delinquent tax foreclosures process. Is that, because that was one of the questions I know.
Has to be
we asked,
specific, if it's expended out there, specific for delinquent tax.
which
collection.
includes, okay, which includes the maintenance of tax foreclosed properties. So like if you had to mow the lawn or do something like that, is that the maintenance he's talking about of properties, if we would need to do some things like that?
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Covered.
But like, when we purchased the counting machine, technically that could not have been expended out of the DTRF. That was the question I had of him.
But then contracts, it covered, but then he said, and contracts. So different contracts can be included in that.
What did you say? It said no other expenditures may be made from the DTRF. That clause is in here, but that was stricken, but he added it back in.
No, he added clarity to it. That line is what he said.
Under
3,
3,
there's a italics, no other expenditures may be made from the DTRF, and he specifically struck that. First red line, when all of us got. So pretty much under this, it's saying, we can pay for BS&A out of it, operational costs such as postage, notices, mailing, supplies, or whatever, and then professional services, including legal audit, which is all that we pay for out of it anyways. But the no other expenditures may be made from the DTRF was specifically struck out of his, because
They aren't statutorily authorized. That's what he
But-
said.
right, I agree, but MCL 21187B tells us what we can and can't. Anything for the collection of delinquent taxes. So by putting no other expenditures may be made from the DTRF, that's the board telling me that I can't even ask for any expenses out of these 3 things, which goes directly against MCL 21187B, which is why he struck it out.
so it was struck out in the attorney's version. It's still in this.
It's
version.
still in here.
No, he sent me a version and he added that in there. Because I asked the question to clarify an expenditures.
I would suggest to table it then, so all of us could get the new red line. And then I have an opportunity to ask some questions.
So what exactly did he add back in then? Can you read the statement? Can we just, yeah, I'll make a motion to table resolution 2020. Oh, we can't, we already made a motion.
Yeah.
I think we should table it. I think we should pull back. I'd like to see the attorney's communications on this. Did the attorney provide an opinion?
If that's what you suggest, then for sure, right, but I don't know.
What's in
why-
front of you is what he gave as a red line, and I can print the red line version out so you can see it.
Well,
I have
let's take a 10-minute recess. Can you print that for us?
Mhm.
You have 10 minutes, come back when we're at.
Yeah, today, I wasn't expecting you to have weather
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
No,
It was, I had to go off.
I've been loving and sitting in my woodburn too. so.
that would do it. You get used to that.
I-
You get used to that real dry
Yeah.
Red line it,
heat.
took it out and put it back.
I couldn't see the car. Real like, my eyes were just like, so I pulled off in the parking lot. for, Like, children and lights and then they kind of let up, it was just like, I'll get going.
But if it's
And
a few
so
minutes,
I should get all the first things. Like, first, I'm going 20 miles an hour and it's very good.
January. For a procedure and it was laid out.
Yeah. And then you worry about somebody that is a little more aggressive, might be cruising up 50 miles an hour behind you.
That's scary too, because you don't know when you're gonna.
Well, and then you think about.
If
You wanted to, and they're gone.
What I was looking for. Okay.
Leave it, oh crap. I got more at my desk, my office.
I gotta feel it.
I don't know what all's underneath here.
Stressful. Stressful if you have a family.
Being
emergency.
And
Then you
really
gotta-
coming up on her, and she'd like pull over on them, like switch to.
I guess that's butterscotch.
Okay.
And it's dark,
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I have a butterscotch.
yeah, it's pretty scary.
I don't know, I'm crazy, I guess.
Let's see what's there.
I'm hoping I don't have to go to Rogers City today. We'll see.
Oh, you have somebody that failed to show up.
No, I have someone job developing, but 9 times out of 10, I head over that way and he's not home or he's tired and doesn't want me, but he's supposed to get a hold of me and he doesn't.
Yeah.
So before I head over that way, I'll give a call. I don't want to have to go all the way over there if I don't have to.
Let your finger do the walking.
That's right. Instead of going that way, I'll go on the way. I do have to go on the way.
Got someone you're working with up there?
Yeah,
I like all of it.
trying to figure busing back and forth for my individual for work.
Hmm.
So. Yeah, 2 people really, but one, that's quite a long drive because my person lives in Onaway, but she works in Posen.
Read that MCL 211.
I don't have my phone with me. Believe it or not, I didn't bring it in.
Really? You're leaving it out in the cold?
I know.
Mine was just.
Then that means if it doesn't work, I don't have to work, right? No, it just means I'll have to warm it up before.
I'm just gonna read it real quick.
Yeah, that won't work. I'll just have to put it by the heater and warm it up. I didn't think about it till I sat down here, then I thought, I don't want to go back outside. I think it's a cherry one. Yeah, it's cherry. Cherry and strawberry.
Don't blame you for not wanting to go outside.
I thought I was gonna have to take Steve to the hospital last night.
It's something like we're allowed to, like, this is.
Oh, I don't feel good. He's growing up again, but he's eating stuff that bothers him.
I thought you just told me he was doing good.
Yeah, and then I told him to take his oxygen, but he'd gone in the bathroom, wasn't feeling good. Came back, it was like 85. I go,
But,
okay.
yeah, at this point, I think it's just.
I said,
Yeah.
if it drops any lower,
Learning.
he goes, oh, just take it.
So it's
82. And I go, you get around. He goes, just give me a few minutes. So I gave him 15 minutes and he relaxed. It was 92. Okay.
Supposed to be about 92, 94, isn't it?
Well, for him,
It's supposed to be higher.
his can be a little bit lower because he's got one lung,
Hmm.
and he's compromised. They don't want it really. 88 is the lowest for him.
Right, yeah. Right.
And then you better take him in.
Yeah, so. You certainly.
Yeah. around Christmas time when I called and I was downstate, it was 82. I said, I'll call the ambulance going. But last year around this time, it wasn't feeling good.
Is it the cold?
Like someone signed up for the new
Last year he had pneumonia and COVID and a whole bunch of stuff, but he was the bathroom, he couldn't get off the toilet, so I had to help him back and forth. He was really bad. When I checked it, it was
1:34, 1:30 to 3.
Oh my God.
He did not want to go to your going. I called the ambulance, they came and got it. By the time they came, it was down to
Is it right at
72.
that front office when you first pull?
He was there 11 days approximately.
Yeah, there's like a little,
So
when you pull in, there's
and he
like
can
a drop,
see
there's a
that,
side door on the opposite
But I
side
told
of
him, I
where
said,
like
no
the
more
trucks pull in.
going out with the dogs.
So, yeah, there's like
When
a
it's
little-
time,
they've
go
got
open the
the
door,
door
stay back,
there.
let her out. Don't go out on the porch,
I know a couple of the.
especially when there's really
Yeah.
Green, he attended like one or two, and then I haven't seen him since.
So I hate
And
to
then,
have to
but
say
mostly
this,
just
but
like our
if
committee members.
And your hands
I have to
full.
clean up something that I do.
And then ask
Yeah.
questions or
Yeah,
whatever.
or-
you-
yeah,
something
if you're
that
in
you
big
can
personal
do.
resources that.
No,
Yeah. But I
Still
know,
work on.
out of the
Yeah.
counties that are involved, like I asked.
I didn't have the
How's
words.
a recycling program
Yeah,
going?
we need to have a little bit of
So,
slush.
I mean, they're looking probably to just like do some different
Cinnamon.
things.
I know I put
They
cinnamon
already
on
have going. We've been working with things as to what they're doing, how they're doing it, and then, class goals, which we have.
I got my eye on you.
Recycling.
Somebody out there.
And we don't have anything right now. Just to- Oh, yeah. Or in the landfill or whatever, so they can't just. do.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you.
I'm always looking for a volunteer. That meeting's always like the third Thursday, Kristen,
That's a nice sign.
third Thursday of the month,
What?
1:30.
I know.
Where do you get that?
Wally. Walmart.
Oh my,
Old Pilot.
I look for them at Walmart. I've never been able to find one.
The pilots. They draw
That's a
really
good
good.
highlighter. Pilot fish, good brother.
Mm-hmm. They draw real good. Right, real good.
Best.
Those are good. Which ones are those?
These are
The
sharp.
Sharpies? Those do right nice.
Just got to see where you're going and you know when to stop.
Yeah, those are nice.
There are two of the, we're disagrees and haven't finished one yet at least.
You can have a copy of the red line and the email.
Last 2 years they haven't.
So the email correspondence is for
Thank you.
clarity on like a specific instance, like we had with the county machine purchase fund, did not have that confusion anymore with anybody, when we're all on the same page.
Change.
I did have an email. People are having a hard time hearing on Zoom. The board members are talking quietly, so they're asking to speak up a little bit. Okay.
You're here, we're back in session. We're back in session. I'm sorry. I was just. So this is basically looking at that surplus rule. I looked it up too online, and what I see is in here where it says, including, excuse me, to cover the cost of the delinquent tax foreclosure process, including the maintenance of tax foreclosed properties and contracts in connection with any transaction relating to the fund or any borrowing made by the county is basically, it's just restating,
This is what the ML.
restating the MCL. That's why I said you
Yeah,
can
he
look
just
it
put
up
in, he
online.
put in their IE so that you had an example.
Right, yeah, and exactly, it is an IE. I see what the suggestion is now. It's just on the red letter, what they're saying is it didn't come out on that red line, which looks like blue on ours. But in the memo, it says from the lawyer, it says, in red, Timothy Crone, to lend additional clarity, he added a phrase to section 2B5 and a sentence after that. The updated one. It doesn't really affect the language of, really affect the process. It's like Lindsay said, this is already what she is pulling from there, so. And the auctioneer cost, that's another thing you can pull out of there, correct? Yeah. That's what this said too.
It's bizarre to me. There was a sentence in there. He struck it out. He added back in the same exact sentence, but in his email, he states no expenditures from the DTRF except for those statutorily authorized. So it just seems like it would be relevant to put that in here. No expenditures may be made from the DTRF.
I think
Except
he's
those
just,
that are statutorily authorized.
and I see this is just him trying to say what's the authorized expenditures. That it was a further. I know before when we looked at this issue before, that's what we had to do was read that. What's an example?
Under 3, I'm talking about 3.
He lists the allowable expenditures and then he says no other expenditures may be made from the DTRF. So he lists it and then says no other.
Yeah, it's not
Except those that are
exclusive.
statutorily authorized. That's where I think that piece is missing, because he's giving examples, but then it's saying nothing else can be expended, but if it's authorized under the DTR statute, then it could be. This list, when it says may include, to me is not all inclusive, but then it's saying no other expenditures can be made, so then that creates it to be all inclusive.
But looking at the resolution we have, where are you seeing that? Because I see under section B where it says ensures all expenditures would comply with MPL 211 point, and I might be missing.
I'm looking at section 3. Not, you gotta go further
All 3,
down.
No
okay.
further.
It says expenditures must be directly related to delinquent tax administration and may include, and it gives examples, and it says no other expenditures may be made from the DTRF, and I'm suggesting that says except those that are statutorily authorized.
Right, I don't see that as limiting though, because wouldn't we go back to review that? I would think we would go back to review that.
I think it's just very contradictory. I mean, let me just, can I make a statement here? The DTRF policy, number one, I think is a little bit ridiculous because it's very, very clear in statute what I and the 82 other treasurers can and cannot do with it. But the board wants a resolution and that's fine. If that's what the attorney wants and the attorney redlined it in there, Okay, so yeah, I don't care. I have no intentions of making any other purchases out of the DTRF than what is directly related to the collection of delinquent taxes. As far as his comments on the counting machine, I would fight him on it, only because there's 20+ other treasurers in this state that have done it and used it. But that's neither here or there, it's whatever. Moving forward, my only requests are, if there are further communication on this, I need to be in on it. Why I got the review in the first red line, but I didn't get the second red line, it's a little bit shady. But I don't disagree with this, the buts. The needs have been met. The board wanted a resolution on something that the statute clearly already states, so the board got it. We got legal verification, in which we redlined just to make it public. From my corrections, a lot of the proposed resolution was redlined and taken out. So now we're on the same page. The county, the board knows what can be done with it. I think it was a good education piece for both of us. We all kind of understand 21187B. You guys have something formal that's there, and we move on with our merry way. If there is an expenditure in the remainder of my term, I'll come to FPS, I'll take the procedures. If the board doesn't think that it's an allowed expenditure at that point, then we'll go from there. I just think that italicized line that Commissioner LaRose is talking about is very contradictory to the rest of the resolution, and it's quite pointless. But that's just my 2 cents on it.
I don't see where he's limiting it to that, though. I don't see where that's a limiting comment.
It's a very specific statement where
It is, but I don't see where it's necessarily limiting. And for clarity, you did bring the machine to us. We did have this conversation. We did read the MCL. I mean, we did have this back and forth. Is it not? And we decided, one way. And you're right. Now it's clarity. So
yeah.
Any further discussion?
I just want to explain why I feel like it's not clear, because that statement, no other expenditures may be made, is in section 3. Section 3 says that expenditures must be directly related to delinquent tax administration and may include, and it lists 3 things, and then it says no other expenditures may be made. So it makes it sound like those 3 are the only expenditures that can be made, and maybe that.
The first sentence says expenditures must be directly related to delinquent tax administration. So he's saying that no other expenditures can be maybe made from the DTRF. They have to be directly related. That's the part.
I don't like the word.
I understand.
Well, it says may include. Expenditures must be, maybe we can amend it to say not limited to the following.
Yeah,
And may include.
Well, that may not the two are the same thing. He's just saying that they have to be directly related. No other expenditures may be made from the DTRF. He's giving you examples of things that would be directly related to it. He's not listing every single thing that's directly related to it. He's just saying that it has to be directly related to the DTRF.
So for clarity, if I amended the motion to say, accept this and with the addition of expenditures must be directly related to delinquent tax administration and may include possible, and may include examples of, or instead of saying may include, examples such as.
They may include, but not limited to.
I feel like you asked the attorney to review, and that's what he gave us, though.
Well, you push back on the attorney with questions.
Ask for clarity, which is my job.
Which is what I'm trying to do here, is ask for clarity, which is my job.
But what's the difference if we say not limited to, because we know that there's more than those 3 things, because for example, we do know that you can do it as the, does it change it that much? This is what I'm asking from your perspective as a controller. Does it change that much? Because we had already said, like for the auctioneer and stuff, we know that we can pull those funds, but yet that isn't listed here. It would be probably, well, it wouldn't be, it wouldn't, number 3, because we know that we use the auctioneer process for that. Would it affect that much? Because in the end of the story is we're anyway.
Right, to see if it falls.
And to see if it falls under those guidelines. Do you see any
Well, if it's confusing to the 7 of you, it's gonna be confusing. that-
Well, I don't see it as
Open to
limiting.
individual
I'm just trying,
interpretation is what I see.
I'm just trying to see if there's some way we can coalesce on this, because I don't see it as limiting, because it does say "and may," which means there's other applications in my mind when I read it, but I see where other people are reading it as more definitive.
So I think if the may is intended to not be limited to, then I don't see the issue in adding the clause, but is not limited to at the end of that statement, as you suggested.
Do you see a problem with that? Because you're the one, you know, you and the treasurer doesn't, but you're the other finance person that needs to say that that's.
So you just
When
want
you-
to take.
Not take
and
anything out.
include, But not limited to.
Yeah, may include but not
Okay.
limited to.
Okay.
It would just be adding that.
Cheryl, can she do that with her?
I would like to, yeah,
Just
amend the
motion.
motion to include at the end, but not limited to the following examples, actually, not limited to the following examples.
I see what it was trying to do there. It just.
Right, I can see
It's
where,
Really confusing. It looks like you can do this and you can follow the statute, but this is it. It
Right.
just makes it look like it's limited to those 3 things when it's not.
and see, you read it at that, because you
But not
look
limited
at
to
this
the
at a
final
different
one.
level than I do, and when I read it, I see that as soon as it says may, that it's this.
I,
So it's just the difference in how you're reading it, but I don't have any problem doing that. Can I, Michelle, or who supported me? Was it you?
I'll second that.
No, Hamlin did that.
Oh,
so-
Hamlin did.
second.
Are you okay with that
Yeah.
adjustment?
Yeah, I did. We're gonna get it redone as, but not limited to
The following
final,
examples.
the final, following examples.
Yeah, then we know that, like you said, there's more to it. We would look further into it. Any further discussion?
I just want to say, I would like, if the board could be shared any legal opinions going forward on board matters.
Let's take a motion. Let's finish the motion first. Roll call, please. Excuse me.
Rose,
Yes.
Hardee's,
Yes.
Pelletier,
Yes.
Hamlin, yes. DeBrey?
Motion passes. And that replaces the old policies we had. Resolution 20604, intent to create and provide a brownfield development authority. We discussed that recently, and the second is the notice of the public hearing, that if we accept this, that will go out. When does that have to go out, this notification? When do we have to do this within?
That has to go out. It has to be publicized at least 12 days before the public hearing.
Okay,
So.
So we can do
if
it
you
in
were to
2
approve
weeks.
it, Or even a month. You can do it at the second meeting next month. Just-
okay. But anyway, if we
It
do
has to
this, it
get
would
2
be.
rotations in the newspaper. Yeah.
Right. I make the motion to accept resolution 2026-04. Resolution of intent to establish a brownfield redevelopment authority pursuant to Act 381 of 1996 and make the notice of public hearing should this be adopted.
I'll second that.
So we have a motion and a second. Do we have discussion on that brownfield? Hearing. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, what are, once the public hearing happens and we go through that process, what are the next steps?
So the public hearing, we're able to do kind of like you guys do the budget one too. You can do a public hearing and the resolution both in one meeting. That's what I'm going to propose, just because we stay on one topic for one meeting. Once we do that, then the paperwork gets sent down to the Secretary of State, Attorney General. Anyways, I have the email where to send it to. They have to approve it, the state does. Once the state approves it, they will notify us. And then at that point, it kind of starts our timeline. We have 30 days to get a 7-member board. So also within this timeline too, I will be getting on the agenda for every township meeting because there is a section there to say that if the county does a land bank and a brownfield, that's cool. But unless a township agrees to essentially allow the county to do land bank and brownfield work in their township, we can't do their township. So it's just gonna be a educational thing. I'm gonna go to each one of the townships, talk to them. I think all of them are gonna be on board. I've been in pretty good communication with all the townships anyways, but just kind of let them know that if you don't sign this agreement, then just know that the county through our land bank and brownfield is not gonna be able to do any work for you in your township. So that will happen in the process. And then I'd like to kind of, once we get this, the public hearing and then the resolutions, if they pass, then get something out probably on our Facebook, our website, whatever, and get letters of interest for the 7-member board. 6 positions will be open. The resolutions state clearly who has to be on them. So I think it was, well, myself is required. So you have 6 more. I think it was 1 or 2 one board member, I think. There was a couple township officials and then a couple of members at large. So we'll start working on that to see who wants to sit on it.
But then
And then
beyond
that's
that, but yeah, right.
And then we have to meet
beyond that,
once a year.
It'll depend on properties.
In this motion, you need to decide what date you want to have the public hearing on. So our next board meetings are the 12th and the 26th of February. Do you want them in the February meeting or do you want to wait till you meet your townships, Lindsay?
Honestly, as long, well, March might be better.
I was thinking maybe give you time to get
Yeah,
your
It's budget
townships.
time for them, so I don't know if they can fit me on there
So do you want to do the last meeting in March, which would be this 26th,
for sure.
and that'll be 9 AM.
You'll have all the township meetings by then?
Yeah, that'll give me 2 months to rotate around.
And so then once we know that, I have to have it less than 20 days, but not more than 40 days prior to that hearing date. So I'll have it put in the public notice in the paper and on our website and on our doors.
Okay, so I need to amend the resolution to include, it would be,
Well, no.
No, it's
No,
got it.
it's listed in,
It's
there. We just
listed
had
in.
to add the dates.
okay, you just
and
had
times.
that, okay, understood. Any further discussion? I think you gave us the list of that board before. I think that came out in the presentation.
Yeah, it's in the
Yeah.
resolutions that we had already sent. Well, I did legal look at those too, April.
Yep, he sent back an email and I
Yeah.
shared that with you, his list of all of our steps to take.
Yeah,
And it was a while ago though.
yep, I have it.
I have a bunch of
Just
info on that
establishing
too.
intent
that we
to,
had before.
This is,
set up a public meeting.
this is to set the public hearing to hear from the public about it. And then after that, you can have a resolution to actually create it.
Mhm.
Because then Lindsay can form the board.
Well, it's your guys's, so they would put in recommendations to the Board of Commissioners. The Board of Commissioners chooses who is on that board. The only guarantee is that I'm on it. That's a requirement by the state of Michigan, but the other 6 people would have to put in letters of interest or however we want to do it. Volunteers are kind of hard to find right now, especially, if they have to be township officials, so hopefully we get some people, but that is your guys' decision, who sits on the board.
And the first resolution can be very generic. You just can state, Tim said that. The county board may appoint an existing EDC board, DDA board, TIFA board, or LDFA board, or otherwise appoint a 5 to 9 member authority board. He said the appointment of the authority board may be included in the resolution established in the BRA or in a separate resolution. So you don't have to technically say who's going to be in it. In the resolution, you can just put the composition of the authority board is generically stated.
Correct, and that's what we chose to do. That's what the 2 gentlemen from Brownfield and Land Bank both told me. They said, I would just put something generic in there, then it gives you time to get notices out to the public and have people, because if you put it in there, then you have to change your resolution every time you change someone on the board. We don't want to do that. Oh.
So this is just the resolution of intent to establish a brownfield redevelopment authority pursuant to Act 381 of 1996. Is there any further questions?
Does that word intent have to be in there?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right,
That's the
because,
first step
right, because that's
It's
the
your
first
intent.
resolution.
before the
We're
public
not
has the chance
establishing
to
right
speak.
now, we're just
Mhm.
declaring our intent.
Correct.
Yes.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please, Cheryl.
Hardee's,
Yes.
Peltier,
Yes.
Hamlin,
Yes.
DeBrunt,
Yes,
LaRoche.
Yes.
Enterprise fleets.
So Chad and I have gone over a bunch of this stuff to kind of find out what costs and things we would need to outfit the 5 cars. The 5 cars have been ordered with Ford, through leasing, as you guys made a motion to do. Expected arrival date is looking at August 24th. That can change because that's just the preliminary date they give us. We went through all the specs of the cars. Those were ordered, and taken care of. We're trying to see if we can change something. Chad and I talked about it yesterday. It came up about the way a spoiler light set up, but we're trying to see if we can change that to maybe save us some upfit charges on the out end of it. So we'll see if we can get that taken care of. But that being said, we will have to upfit 5 cars. We talked about the cars that would be switched out. We're in agreement with those, so those are good to go. Bernie went through what he has in stock and what he can reuse on other cars, and detailed up our upfit. And we should have a new one from Winder, kind of detailing it a little bit better, but just some things that we changed that we had in stock already, we won't have to order.
So that cost of 5684 would go down. You don't need to order.
It depends on, it's gonna go down. So to do 5 vehicles total, Chad and I are estimating about $33,902.25. That would outfit all 5 vehicles, and that's reusing things, but we also gotta remember, we're keeping the 1 car that it's the youngest of the 5 we're getting rid of, and putting that in the marine car place and salvaging out that marine car that's very old. So he wants to keep it equipped, so it's a spare, fleet vehicle, so there are some things. So that $5,600 for outfitting, that's changed because we had things on stock, but we had, talking to Brian and Chad and Bernie yesterday, they needed a radar and 2 cameras. I think it was cameras, sorry, we've had a lot of invoices between us. 2 cameras, we need to get 2 new cameras and we needed a new radar. And so that's the estimate of that 33,000. So if we can purchase these upfit materials ahead of time so that they're on site, everything's in the shop ready. So when the cars show up, we can get them installed and out on the road. The plan is that, when 1 car, like somebody could use one of the fleet cars, but 1 car will come in, pull it, and then the next car will go out and so forth. We were gonna pay for upfitting, the labor was $3,200. So Chad and I talked about it. He doesn't think there'll be any issue with Bernie getting these out in that 4-week timeline. So we can get these cars on the road, ready to go right away.
So it's gonna be about
4 weeks
6,200.
apiece.
Well,
5 vehicles
Mhm.
in 4 weeks.
4 to 6
What we're
weeks.
gonna try to do is we're trying to stagger the delivery, which we have notes in the account to do, so that we're not getting all 5 vehicles on the lot, from the lot immediately. We might get 2, and then we'll get 2 more, and then the last one, so that we're not sitting on them so long. So we're working with Danny to get that taken care of. We talked about that in length with Danny. But everything, we went through all of it, and everything looks good. So I just need approval to purchase this upfitting list that Bernie and everybody came up with. And we can use the county improvement funds to purchase these in advance so that we have these on site. These will not be leased, capitalized or anything. This will be outright purchase, so it'll be taken care of.
These purchased through, this is purchased through Enterprise or?
No, so we would be buying all the upfitting stuff through Winder. And then we have Provision, who does our cameras, and then we have PV Electronics that does our radar.
And then just with the staggering of vehicles, so I noticed in your report, it said the lease payment, if they were upfitted at Roscommon Auto, we would not have to pay a lease payment until we receive the vehicles. Is there any way, in talking to Danny, we can work it out where until we have them upfitted if we're doing it ourselves?
Nope, we talked about, Chad and I asked that question, and because in order for that to happen, we would have to have Bernie's shop listed as an approved vendor, which means he would have to be open to the public, and that's not possible, so.
Well, it comes to 6,200 roughly per vehicle. using this dollar amount, right, for the 5 vehicles?
No, it's less. For the outfitting.
Okay. Right.
You switched it back to 6 regular gas instead of the.
We did not want hybrid. When I was talking,
Previous, it was.
Yeah.
as hybrids.
I was talking to Danny and originally it was gas and then I saw it switched and I said, no, we do not want the hybrid. And then Chad had called me and said something about it. I said, no, I already switched that for you. And he said, good. So yeah, we're not going hybrid. We do not. There's a lot of issues with those engines going to the dealer a lot. So we wanted.
Battery, $2,000 or more just for a battery.
April,
Do so well.
that- okay, so what this is for the 33,900.
Yeah, I would, if you could approve us up to about 35,000 to get it in case there's any changes in shipping charges or things like that. So we can get this.
Okay, so what I was doing, I was just taking that amount and dividing it by 5.
Oh, okay.
So it's around 6,700 of it. Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve up to $35,000 to purchase the equipment to upfit the new 5 lease vehicles, allowing the county's in-house mechanic Bernie to install the equipment on the vehicles.
and I'll support. Motion support. Any further discussion? I tend to do this backwards.
Well, if you're looking for, what is the timeline? Approximately 4 weeks per car, not for all 5.
That's a rough estimate. What,
Not per car.
It's for all.
It's
4 to
4 to 6
6
weeks for all 5 cars.
Right.
I don't think that's gonna happen. That's a lot of work to get done in that short time.
that's why we're gonna stagger the cars so that we're not, so in the motion, we're not gonna state that it's gonna happen in a certain timeline. But talking to Chad and him talking to Bernie and everything, we have no doubts that we can get those out. Because once he had everything in stock for the other car, it came out within a couple weeks. So as long as he's got everything on hand and can go, mostly was waiting for things to get here to.
Last time.
He had everything on hand, it came out in a couple weeks, so that would be 10 weeks if you're looking at.
Not necessarily because he can do more than one car or be doing certain things to 2 cars at the
I
same
just
time.
think 4 weeks is way overly optimistic.
But we're not putting a
I'm
timeline
putting
on
a
it.
timeline in the motion, but I do think it's important to allow Bernie to do it because I've been to his shop and watched how he's setting up the vehicles and it's pretty expensive and he does do stuff that is customized to fit with what our deputies' needs are. So, and then if he's doing it, he knows how to maintain it, update it, fix things because he did it himself to install them. So I do think we should give him a chance and, hopefully we have a little bit of grace if it ends up taking a little bit longer and hopefully we're able to stay.
Some things that just take a long time just because you gotta rip half the car apart to get the wiring
Yeah,
run.
he had it ripped apart when I was there.
Well, I thought the one update though they gave us was with these Fords, they already come wired for a lot of the
The
lights.
light packages and
that they-
everything. We get the road ready package.
Right,
One
so
with
a lot of
spoiler
that.
light you're
The
talking
kind of
about.
package you get makes a
You
difference.
have to run wires for that, but it comes pre-wired if you buy the spoiler package that you're talking about.
Yeah, that's why we're trying to get it switched on the lease. So that comes already installed,
Right,
which if that happens would save us money on the upfit cost by about $1,000 a piece. So if we can get it wrapped in the car cost.
any further questions?
Can you please put on the motion that we're gonna use the county improvement funds to pay for this?
Oh,
I can amend my motion. Did you catch that too?
and I agree. Without in, roll call?
Can I hear that motion one more time, please?
No, you may not. Frankly, because I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it. My basic, what I have is that you've approved up to $35,000 to equip the cars and have the in-house mechanic upfit them using county improvement funds. That's the short of it.
Are you content with that?
Yeah.
You're happy with that?
Yes. Roll call?
Peltier,
Yes.
Hamlin,
Yes.
DeVrent,
Yes,
LaRose,
Yes.
Hardee's.
Yes. New business, Albert Township Draft Master Plan. And this is like we've had these before. We do not have, we don't have a commission that's going to oversight these. So it's a motion to waive the review of the Albert Township Master Plan, since we do not have a planning commission yet.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion and support. Any further discussion?
By waiving this, is this going to make us liable in any way?
Nope,
Later
this
on?
is up to the townships to do it locally.
Okay. All right.
I kind of wish they had given us, we had seen a copy of their,
I emailed it. It's like, 100.
Quite lengthily.
yeah, did you look at it? It was emailed to us. It was very nice. Anybody have a chance to look at it? Any further discussion?
That was the only thing that I had, is if there was gonna be liability to it.
I think we can just do a motion on this. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. The appointment to the DHHS board, Teresa Collins. And we have that letter in front of us. That was submitted by Tina Smigelski from the director of Alpena Montmorency County DHHS. I'd make the motion to accept the appointment of Teresa Collins as one of 2 Montmorency County appointed members on the Montmorency County DHHS board.
I'll second that.
Do we need the,
Term expired?
yeah,
Yeah, for the term expired on 9/30/2025.
I meant, do we need how long this appointment stood for, like when it expires?
Right, yeah, that's what I'm saying, 9/30.
Well-
Oh, wait.
I think
expired
that's when
on-
it did expire,
2-year
yeah.
term for
They
it.
should have
Is it
given
a
you
1
that.
year?
She did not give me a term length.
Is it 3 years? I don't
It's
know.
usually 3 years.
Do they have policies that state that we could just say in accordance with the?
I was just gonna say, I was
I'm
gonna
sure you
say,
can do
maybe,
that.
maybe we can just. can
I need
amend
to
it.
know what it is, because I do up their oath of office.
Okay.
So it should have been included on their letter to you.
Yep, you're right, it wasn't.
Should we
So
table it then?
I'm not gonna assume what it is.
I'm
or
just gonna
not.
email her really quick.
I can withdraw that motion if I have support for that, and we can go on to the next and gives her time to.
I'll support
Would that
withdrawal.
be okay? Is she going to respond to us?
Yeah.
The appointment to the Northeast Michigan Community Mental Health Authority Board, Lloyd Peltier. And this is the current members of the Northeast Michigan Community Mental Health Authority Board from Montmorency County are Charlotte Hellman and Lloyd Peltier. Mr. Peltier's appointment expires on March 31st, 2026. You're asking that Mr. Peltier be reappointed for an additional 3-year term expiring March 31st, 2029. I'll make a motion to accept
I'll second.
that nomination. We have a motion, a second. Just when we have the end date, any other questions or concerns? Roll call.
You don't need a roll call.
On appointments, we were told yeah, when you look it up, it says appointments, they should do a roll call for officiality. Robert's rules. Had to look it up for something else.
Hamlin,
Yes.
DeBrent,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes,
Hardee's,
Yes.
Peltier.
Yes.
Came up on something else. Appointment to the library board, Mary Burrick. The Montmorency County Library Board passed a motion to recommend Mary Burrick for the reappointment to the library board as a trustee for the term 2026 through 2030. That broad term, will that suffice for you? I'm assuming it's a January 1, 2026 to December 31st. It's a 5-year
It
term.
ends 2030. I have that much. I would assume year end. Well, no, their calendar is probably October 31st. Or sorry, September 30th. I would assume 9/30/2030. But then it doesn't make sense because they would have
You want
expired.
to table that one too, then?
Well, I think you're talking DHHS, right?
Change the
This
term.
is a
one.
library.
She said the previous 5 years.
It has to be December because they wouldn't have made the decision in January if it expired in, back in September.
Not a clue.
I can put it on there when it expires, doesn't mean that it, I don't know.
She served from,
Twenty
will
twenty.
be 2026 to 2030, and she served the previous 5-year term. So they do a shorten the term.
Yeah,
No, we serve all 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. That's 5 years.
yeah, right.
I can just put on there, term expires
Yeah.
2030.
There you go.
Sounds good.
We have a motion?
Did we have a motion yet?
No.
I'll make that motion.
Do we have support?
I'll support.
We have motion and support? Any further discussion? Roll call?
Brent,
Yes.
LaRose,
Yes.
Hardee's,
Yes.
Pelletier,
Yes.
Hamlin.
Yes.
On both of these, I can contact and get exact dates. Cheryl, can they make the motion and I just give you the exact date after the meeting, or does it?
Have to be in the,
You could put in the motion with the expiration date once confirmed.
well, I think what Michelle had said might suffice if we say that we're making the motion to accept Teresa Collins, the DHHS board expiration date for their policy or for their,
For a length of term in accordance with
for their term policies.
Mhm. If it's- yeah, I'm assuming it's in there.
What's going on? Computer's glitching out.
At which case, you can, when you get that information, that can just be clarified, but at least it would be for their term policies. And you won't have an actual date. So is that a problem, Cheryl?
Maybe, because I can't tell you how many times people will come back and look through my oath book just to find out when
People were, exactly, which is exactly.
when terms were expiring and if they
Yes.
forgot to do somebody, or maybe they take a copy of the oath once I give it to them that has the expiration, so they can know when it, I don't know.
Well, we can table
Until our
the
next-
one for DHHS until we get an actual term. I'd make the motion to table.
Nope, I got an answer.
Oh.
3-year term.
3 years?
Go from where?
59/30/27. Right? 26, no, 28.
So it goes from
28.
January 1.
No, it says it would expire on 9/30 of 28.
It goes from 9/30/25 to
I just need to know
9/30/28.
the expiring.
It's a 3-year. Right on that. Okay, so I'd make the motion to accept the nomination of Teresa Collins as one of 2 Montmorency County members to the Montmorency County DHHS Board, a term expiring 9/30/2028.
Wow.
Wow.
I'll second that.
Motion second. Any further discussion on that? Roll call, please.
LaRose,
Yes.
Hardee's,
Yes.
Pelletier,
Yes.
Hamlin,
Yes.
DeBrent.
Yes.
Motion passes. The opioid funding request that was in front of you, this comes from Dan Oliver. Has received grants in the past, or funding in the past. He's the one that we've given the gas cards to for people to come for treatment and those kind of things. Is there anything, it was pretty straightforward. I would make the motion to accept the opioid funding request from Dan Oliver.
Do you want to specify?
I was just gonna say specifying the $506.40 total.
Does he have, is this like for an organization?
Thunder Bay Community Health Services, Dan Oliver is. So he's going to be providing, I can read it to you, to support the newly formed Narcotics Anonymous group by a donation of materials, basic textbooks for 10 members, along with step working guides, one basic library of any materials for the group leader, and one basic library for recovery services of Thunder Bay Community Health for education within the organization. He'd like to donate by the end of February 2026. The grand total of the cost is $506.40, and that includes the 10 Narcotics Anonymous basic text, 10 Narcotics Anonymous step working guides, and 2 basic libraries.
We have motion and support. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Hardee's,
Yes.
Peltier,
Yes.
Hamlin,
Yes.
DeBrent,
Yes.
LaRose.
Yes.
Motion passes. Resolution 2026, the county investment policy. I make a motion to accept the resolution adopting the county investment policy 2026-05. Do you want to read that to us, April?
Oh, geez.
You need a second?
Yeah.
I'll second that.
I can read it.
No, I can. Just a second.
I'm just kidding.
Whereas the county of Montmorency is required to manage and invest public funds in accordance with applicable Michigan statutes, including but not limited to Act 20 of 1943 as amended, and the other public acts governing the investment and safekeeping of public funds. And whereas the Board of Commissioners is the sole governing authority and power to establish investment policy, approve investment relationships, designate depositories, and authorize investment activity on behalf of the county. And whereas the county attorney has prepared and provided a comprehensive county of Montmorency investment policy establishing the legal authority, internal controls, standards, procedures, roles, responsibilities, and limitations governing the investment of all county funds. And whereas the investment policy is intended to ensure that preservation of capital, liquidity, compliance with Michigan law, transparency, ethical conduct, and prudent management of county funds. And whereas the Board of Commissioners finds that adoption of the investment policy is in the best interest of the county and its residents, and is necessary to clearly define authority, prevent unauthorized activity, and promote sound financial governance. Now therefore be it resolved that the county of Montmorency investment policy as presented by the county attorney and attached hereto as Exhibit A is hereby approved and adopted in its entirety as the official investment policy of the county. The investment policy shall apply to all county funds unless otherwise exempted by statute and shall govern all investment activities, account openings, financial relationships, and asset movement authorizations. The investment policy is adopted as a standing policy of the county and shall remain in full force and effect unless and until amended or rescinded by formal action of the Board of Commissioners at a public meeting. No delegation of investment authority, approval of financial institutions, opening of accounts, execution of investment documents, or authorization of ACH or wire activities shall occur except as expressly permitted by board resolution and in compliance with the adopted investment policy. The county treasurer, county administrative controller, and all county officers and employees shall comply fully with the requirements, limitations, and controls set forth in the investment policy, and the resolution shall take effect immediately upon adoption.
Questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Peltier,
Yes.
Hamlin,
Yes.
DeBrent,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Hardee's.
Yes. Motion passes. Without objection, we will adjourn 10:57.
You guys all here. Sure, I just saw it in the newspaper, of course. Are we recording still?